exterior 1 3 foot. Now, you don't need to write this down. It's on your student companion website. Okay, I found it actually on page 404 of your text. Common sites of architectural features says, go to the companion website, and you have this list. So this will help you a lot on your sizes. Keep in mind, if you've got to get through a door, you're probably going to want to be 2.6 or better. There's a lot of doors we use you don't go through, right? Closet doors, many times we just open them and reach through, right? Coat closets, okay? Linen closets, these types of doors that you don't go through, you can kind of do whatever you want on those. But yes.
Do we have to be like spot on when we go to our first meeting? Because we didn't ask the client what size of door they want. We didn't ask them.
No, you don't even have to have doors
Just say
in your
there's a
first
doorway,
meeting.
so, okay. So you don't have to do that.
We're just covering it so that you can start adding it if you get to that step. Yeah, you're eventually going to have to get spot on.
Well, yeah, we got that fine.
All right, windows. Just not getting to that dang code book. I don't know if I'm going to make it again today. 6 windows. These kind of start on page 361. A few things about windows as a whole. Number 1, consider these the eyes of the house. Where are you going to look? They are there for 2 reasons. One, obviously, to look through. The second, to give natural light. All habitable rooms must have 10% of the wall area natural light. That's a code issue. Now, there's a bunch of exceptions to that. Okay, we can do it different ways. Bathrooms have to have 7% natural light. You've ever been in a bathroom that doesn't have a window at all?
Yeah.
Quite a few of them, because there's a little thing called exceptions in code, where it says if I don't have natural light, I got to put a mechanical fan in there.
Yeah.
Something of that nature. But primarily, you want to think of natural light. Folks, you can build a very energy efficient home, but you're going to have to remove all the windows. Nobody wants to live in that. So these are your eyes to the house. Now, it will come at a cost. It will come at a cost. Because we spend a lot of money in our climate to cool and heat a structure. We insulate our cavity, out here we call our insulated cavity, or usually the exterior perimeter. We spend a lot of money to do that. And then we stick a window in it. Most of these walls, like this one's probably greater than that, but most of your residential walls are about an R21, and that's a factor that measures the thermal transmission of that wall. Okay, and R21 is pretty good. That's a 2x6 wall. The best window you're probably ever going to buy has an R factor of maybe approaching 4. Maybe. So just keep in mind that every time you cut a hole, you're in essence removing or creating area for cold and heat to come through. Both of them equally, right? Because during the summer we want to get rid of the heat. During the winter we want to get rid of the cold. You have to, in Twin Falls County, windows are done with a U factor. That's how we call them. An R factor for insulation is equal to the inverse of the U factor. And I'm not sure why they do windows as a U factor. Everything else is done as an R factor. Okay, so when you buy it. In Twin Falls County, you have to have a window that has a U factor of greater than, let's see, if I'm making that right, your U factor has to be greater than 0.35. I think this is right on the Twin Falls City website. Somebody take the inverse of 0.35 if you would. It might be 0.37, so I'm calling this from memory. It's on the website, Twin Falls City.
2.8.
Okay, so that's a R factor of 2.8. You have to have better than that. Now, it states on the website, and this is something you don't have to do. In Twin Falls City, it also says that you have to put in what's called UV glass for all exterior windows. That is false. Who knows what UV glass does?
Tinted.
No, it's not tinted.
Kind of reflects the UV light that way.
Yes.
Or blocks it from coming through.
Yeah, and it's how the window's made. The glass is made. So when the sun hits the window, you see the light components. You don't see the ultraviolet component. That's the heat and transmission that goes through it. And so what they do is they take a UV glass, they take the glass crystals or the silica crystals and they alter them so that when it hits, the light goes through, the UV bounces back. So we have to use that. Now, with that said, what creates the source of UV light? The sun. Do we need to pay for UV glass on the north side of a building in our climate? No, it's not doing you anything. Okay, so Twin Falls City is wrong on this. You do not have to do it. It'll cost you kind of like that tempered thing. You know, you go UV, you're going to pay another $30 a window, or some such deal. All right.
You said that's wrong, but it's part of the county code.
Part of the city code is stated on their website, but I had that argument and I won, and they haven't removed it.
Dang, go Pat.
You tell him.
So, the permit guy tried to tell me UV, because I started whipping out scientific journals. And, what's this say? What's this say? This guy did this study. Oh, wait, maybe you're right.
You're like, yeah.
So anyway, just keep in mind that you don't have to. Yes.
But so on the east and west side, you have to have UV glass.
Yes,
right?
you do.
Okay.
And you want it. You want to pay that money because they are a great window under sunlight. And they will cool and heat your house. Okay? Their glass is set such that when the sun gets to a low angle, it lets the UV light in. At a high angle, when the sun hits it, it blocks the UV. Okay, when's the sun up in the high in the sky?
The hottest part of the day.
Summer. When's it low? In the winter. Okay, so they're great windows. Okay, and you want to use them, but you want to use them in the right location. Okay. Now, you can do tinting. Tinting doesn't do anything for heating and cooling. It's got to be the UV stuff. Okay. It just reduces glare. Please do your own studies on this. I haven't looked for about 5 years. Missy, you brought up the gas and train windows.
I was going to ask about that.
Up to about 5 years ago, last time I researched it, they had about a 1-year lifespan. And then all of the
Argon.
helium or argon or whatever they're putting in there has leaked out. Now that was 5 years ago. They might have improved the technologies then, so if you want to do gas-filled windows, and window salesmen, they're going to try and pitch it because they can charge you more. Do your research on it. They guarantee you somewhere they have looked at those windows. They might have improved it. Right now, and that's an expensive cost. You go from a normal to a gas-filled, this can be hundreds of dollars,
Yeah.
and you're paying for 1 year. So the numbers don't pencil. Yes, Sean?
What's the purpose of a gas-filled window?
When they get hit by UV light, it excites the gas and it will create a block. They usually put argon in there, but they do put other ones in there. I don't remember what they all are. So as UV hits it and it warms up, it'll rearrange the air atoms or the argon atoms and it will block stuff. And it's based on what's hitting.
So it increases your UV.
Yeah, it increases the thermal transmission factor of the window.
Now I want to know.
Yes.
Have you seen the windows where they put like a certain chemical in them and it creates electricity when the sunlight hits them?
What?
I've heard about them. No, I have not seen one. I don't know anybody that's bought one. Yeah.
Do you have some at your house?
He's like, no.
So
I
now
think so. They're-
The only thing
they're
with
doing a lot of things, and this is a changing market. You need to keep your research up on it. They're doing a lot of stuff. Like Declan said, they're actually making solar stuff now.
There's like bulletproof windows.
But
too.
there's a
Well,
lot of
yeah,
issues
those-
to go with that.
the thing is that with the gas field, when they release the gases, aren't the gases harmful to?
They're just standard windows at that point.
Yeah, but isn't the gas being released harmful?
Oh, I don't know that you've got enough to.
Yeah, that much.
Argon, or you
Well,
can-
maybe it's
Take-
all.
Fire window.
Taking that much time for that gas to
More,
release.
get sure we got radon so that.
Yeah.
To get to that, maybe the basements, right?
Be more worried
Okay.
about arsenic in the
Well,
well.
and we weld with pure argon in the welding shop, and so when we purge something and we're welding with it, it's not.
All right, point being, just pay attention, do your own research on these things. Now, you do need this U factor to be a certain level. And you do need UV glass on all sides of the building that the sun will hit. That's pretty much standard. Now, a couple other things you want to watch out for. Any window above a slippery surface, regardless of where it sits, or within 18 inches of the floor, or within a door swing, must be tempered. So, tempered glass. Anytime you're above a slippery surface, so if you have a jetted tub and a window up there, or you have a bathtub, a shower combo, and you got a little awning window up there, doesn't matter where it's at, tempered, because you're on a slippery surface. Now, obviously, you slip and you stick a hand through it, what they're worrying about. So any slippery surface must be tempered. If it's within, the bottom of the window is within 18 inches of the floor, must be tempered. If it's within a door swing, so you see this on front doors, where doors, those aren't against walls, right? So they'll open all the way into a transom window or a side light, those have to be tempered. Okay. So that's the three places you're looking for there. Okay. Let's see, I think that's kind of about it for your design. Any questions or thoughts on that? Yes, Missy.
Well, so did you say that it has to be tempered like if it's at the end of the upstairs?
Say that
So,
again,
like,
please.
we have we have stairs, and then we have a landing, and then we have a door, and we had to put tempered glass in that door
Yeah, oh yeah, and a door, yeah.
because our
Falling
children
from stairs.
slide down the stairs.
I'd be interested to see that configuration and when that was done, because there's a lot of codes on doors and stairways.
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah,
There's a landing, but the door isn't that far.
I'm guessing your stairs go like this, have a landing, come back down, there's a door, then you have windows, and then the door has.
The door through the landing is,
okay, generally that's your big thing there.
Yeah.
is like to go
Um,
out somewhere?
So we've already gone over how to represent these. Let's just look at the different types. The cheapest and most standard one is this guy right here. It's called a horizontal slider. Real common, vinyl clad, cheap window, works forever. Okay. Nice windows. And again, the glass you put in them can be varied depending on what you want. You can change the frames, all of that types of thing. You can go down and buy a 5-foot horizontal slider and pay $100 for it. Okay, and have a window that's going to work for you for the life of the house. You can also go to somewhere else and get the frame in wood and an expensive glass in it, and you can pay $3,000 for that same window. Okay, so the price varies dramatically depending on what you're trying to do. My favorite windows out on the market, I love Pella windows. Now, that's an upper scale window. They cost you a little bit more, but I think over the life of those, that's been my favorite over time. The best ones that have operated for me. But I'm a little prejudiced on them now. But there's a lot of good ones out there. Okay, we have some that are manufactured in Idaho. If you want to support Idaho industry, there's a Western window.
Western windows.
Okay, they're made up in Caldwell, I believe, Caldwell, Nampa area.
I've been to the factory.
Have you? And that's an Idaho company, so if you want to support a local Home Depot, then that's always a good idea. So, horizontal slider, your most common. Let's go to the next one, vertical sliders. You have two types here. When we say a vertical slider, almost never we call it a vertical, we call it a single hung or a double hung. Okay, and that's what you're doing with the vertical slider. If it's a single hung, the bottom moves. If it's a double hung, the bottom and the top will move. These windows have gotten much, much better over time. If we were 15 years ago, I would have told you, don't ever put one of these in a house. They do look good, people like the looks of them, but 15 years ago, all vertical sliders had a fixture that the homeowner had to make for them. Does anybody know what that is? A prop. So you had a pipe sitting there or a piece of 2x2 because they always, the mechanism for upping and shutting them always broke. It was made out of felt and springs, right?
You know you can replace it, right?
Yeah, now they
It
kind
always
of solved that
depends.
problem. The newer ones seem to last for quite some time. I think the story's still out if I get 40 years out of a window like that, but like Annie said, now they make them where you can replace that too if it does fail. So a real good window. People like this one generally more than they like the horizontal sliders, as a general rule.
Mm-mm.
So that's your single and double home.
I don't like these ones either.
All right, down on figure 1625, casement windows. Windows that open all the way. If you notice on those vertical sliders and horizontal sliders, your actually open part of the window is less than half of the window, because you have the window and the frame that is really the true opening. Casements will give you full windows. Now, why would we choose these over the others? People like casements too. These are ones, you know, they got the little hand crank at the bottom, some of them are pretty swingy with knobs on them. So you can get a bunch of different styles. This is also a very pretty window, considered an upscale type of window. Generally, you're going to choose this one over a vertical or horizontal is if you need an egress and you have a small area. Because to get a horizontal slider where it allows bedroom egress, it pretty much has to be 4'6" to 5 feet wide to meet code. Okay, I can get that same egress window out of a casement at 24 inches, maybe 2'6". So if you need egress, this is a great window. You see a lot of this in today's basements, where we have window wells, where we can't really get a slider in there to give us egress out of it, and a casement will give us that. So again, this one, a lot of people change the symbol on. I don't, but a lot of people do. They show the swing of the window. Because again, the thing's got to open. So it's a good idea to know how far it's going to open so you don't put a piece of furniture in there or something like that. You have a bunch of these types. These aren't used near like they used to. They used to be a really common window. You have your awnings, hinged at the top. I always forget the name of it. There's one hinged at the bottom. I call it a Julouse, J-U-L-O-Y-S-E or something, but I think I'm wrong. You can do a quick search on what that one's called. Yeah, no, I do have it wrong. But if you look at figure 1628, that's the Julouse is the one with slats.
Where would you use that?
I don't know, stormy areas. Maybe you wanted a slat to put down. If I lived on the East Coast and a hurricane's coming, I don't have to board the thing up.
You could put those in bathrooms too, so you don't have to.
Yeah, and in fact, we see a lot of horizontal and vertical sliders mimicking this now where they put the blinds inside of it, right? So it's almost like you're physically closing that
Wait, I'm
space.
confused. I mean, that's the glass sticking out and it glass down?
Yeah, it could be glass. They can also be frames that work with it too. This is glass panels that rotates. Down on the bottom, pictorial, bottom page 363. Pictorial windows that don't open. We call these plates. They're just a plate of glass.
It's like those ones?
Yes, these are all plate windows. Okay. Where do you see this window at a lot of times?
Batteries.
You almost, not in the bathroom, because we want to open that for
A
ventilation.
lot of them are, I have one in my living room.
Living
Yeah,
room.
front rooms, right? Front rooms. We see this a lot. And we're starting to see this being combined with other window types.
Yeah, like the sliding one.
But yeah, it's real common now to have an 8-foot window stuck in there, 4 foot in the middle is plate, and then I've got 2 2-foot vertical sliders or horizontal sliders on the side. And we're getting a lot of variation on that now. Plate, something that doesn't open. Your framing has to be the same, that's kind of what this picture is on 1630. When you're doing bay windows, these are typically plates or sliders, depending on. But again, you want to make sure you have those 3 inches like they're showing here, because we need those same 2 studs that we showed on doors. So you need 3 inches on the side. This is the only window I do a different symbol for on page 364, because it does stick outside. That's a garden window. Just to make sure I don't stick something on there and they know. It just mounts to the outside of the house. This is the one where you can put your little herb garden in there or something. Kind of cool windows, I kind of like them.
How long do they last?
They get dirty on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
With
will.
windows, you always gotta realize who's gonna clean them.
The homeowner. That's not your problem. Unless
We'll
you
have to
own
clean
one.
later.
Okay, then they go into schedule. So that's kind of the end of the doors and windows. When you're doing doors and windows, look up that thing on the website. You don't need them, again, I'll reiterate, you don't need them for your first meeting with your client. You just want to make sure you can access a room. Typically, you'll go through that list. Where am I using 2 6 doors? Where am I using 2 8 doors? Stick with your common architectural sizes, please. Because I'll tell you what, if you go from a front door that is a standard 3'0", 6'8", I can run down to Home Depot and I can buy a really nice fiberglass one that will work for a long time, and I can buy it for $400. If I make a 7'6" door and I call it out solid wood, I might have to go to the Valley Door Company. Many of these doors, you're looking at 20 grand. The cost of this will bump a house dramatically if you go custom sizes. You want to stick with your normal sizes if possible. If the client gets outside of that, tell them it might cost them. Yes, Declan?
Are those, like, normal sizes, are those handicap accessible?
I'm sorry?
Are those handicap accessible doors? Like the that way, standard?
Yeah, the 3 foot?
3 foot?
Yep. Yeah, they meet ADA requirements.
I think.
ADA, what is American Disabilities?
Act.
Is it American Disabilities Act, or?
I think that's what it is.
I can't remember what the first A stands for.
Or Americans with Disabilities Act.
I'm not sure. We do not have to follow ADA on the residential market unless somebody asks for it.
And the ramps are a pain.
Americans with Disabilities Act.
What if you're not?
All right, I was going to go into codes today, but I'd take on a bunch of your time. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of homework and show you a link. While you're waiting, if you would open the internet and please go type in International Residential Code and then have a search for that. Yeah. Let me show you the link that I want to use here. Did everybody get one? I got one extra for some reason. Did I not read one on this?
Oh, that's 2018 now?
Thanks. First off,
Good call.
this is still what Twin Falls City and County is using, the 2012.
It's the whole state.
The whole state, yes. Now, if you're gonna use a code in Idaho, you have to use the IRC. There are other code books out there, the UBC, NEC, bunch of them. Everybody used to be able to choose now. Everybody has to be IRC. So if you have codes, it's gotta be based in here. You can excerpt yourself out of this text. Okay, so in essence, I can come in here and say, I'm gonna follow 2012 IRC, except for this code, we're gonna require this. And it needs to be documented somewhere, and that's available to you. Ours is on our website. So let me real quickly go to that. I gotta get my little search going here. International. So the first link I have here at the bottom, it's the codes.iccsafe.org. Do you see that one?
Yeah.
And mine says 2018. I'm fine with you using 2018. Okay. So because Twin Falls will make the jump. It'll probably go to 2016 next year, I think. And then it'll eventually get to 2018. They try and stay a little bit behind because once we get a bunch of contractors working under one code, we try not to change it unless there's a need for it. The thing that's nice, the newer codes, they allow more flexibility to you as a builder. They have quite a bit more because science has caught up with a lot of the problems that our buildings have. So I think it's fine for this class no matter what text you use. If you like a hard copy, I've got 2 of these. Folks, you need to get familiar with this. I would bookmark this site right here. This has this textbook in it. Now, they call it the International Code Council. I've checked many of the codes in here against this to make sure they're right. I have not found an error yet. But as with anything with the internet, I'm somewhat suspicious of it